Jen with The Travelman, and first I shared a video on New York City stereotypes that are totally true. But today I'm sharing 17 myths, stereotypes, or lies that are totally false. If you think this is your idea of New York City, I'm going to tell you why they are totally wrong. And first, if you want to be the first person to know about my next future videos, please click that subscribe and bell button. Check out more on my blog, and if you want to help me bust these myths, please share it with friends. So here we go. Here are my top 17 New York City myths that are totally false. Number 1, all New Yorkers wear New York gear. Well, I mean, they wear Yankees or Mets shirts, yeah, but no one wears these shirts except for the tourists, and me when I'm trying to be ironic. So if you buy it, just know you are letting everyone know that you are a tourist, because other than July 4th, people who live here don't usually wear things that are too patriotic. So now you know.
I'm walking here! Get out of here!
Number 2, New Yorkers talk funny. We don't talk funny, you talk funny. The truth is that linguists have studied the New York City accent, and it is fading fast, especially among younger generations. The accent that you might know from TV and movies is actually not quite accurate and doesn't really exist. It is really hard to find an actual New York born and bred New Yorker who still has that New Yorker accent. Number 3, New York City is dangerous. This is totally false. New York is actually one of the safest places I have ever lived, and I feel safer here than when I travel to a lot of other places. So come to New York, feel comfortable, even though crime did spike in the 1980s, that's probably where the stereotype came from. It has been almost completely cleaned up. It is now the safest large metropolis in the US, with a crime rate per inhabitant lower than the national average. That says something. So come here, feel safe, don't worry. Like anywhere, there is a small risk of potential petty theft, but honestly, if you're smart about it, you will be totally fine. You do not need to wear your backpack in the front and look like a total tourist and say, hey everyone, feel free to rob me. No, you don't need to do that. But just be smart about it, okay? Like, don't have your wallet sticking out of your pocket so that it's about to fall out, you know? So just be smart, you're safe, no worries. Number 4, New Yorkers go to top attractions. This is totally false. Most New Yorkers have not been to top tourist attractions, probably because they are avoiding it because they think there are too many tourists, or they think, oh, I could do it any day. So they most of the time have not been to the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty. Number 5. Am I in focus? Yes. Okay, cool. Number 5, New Yorkers know the city by heart. New Yorkers do not know every single area, hotel, place. If you stop someone on the street and say, where is this hotel? They probably have never heard of that hotel or most hotels because they don't stay there. So don't ask for a specific place or attraction. Instead, give them cross streets. Say, instead of the Empire State Building, say, where's 34th and 5th? Oh, it's right there. Go uptown, take a left. It is a lot easier if you give them cross streets. Number 6, you can meet at an iconic location. Unlike the movies, you cannot just say, I'll meet you on the Brooklyn Bridge or the Empire State Building. It's not that easy to meet up with people. So give them a cross street, give them a specific entrance or specific area or place. I like to give people the cross streets and a specific non-chain restaurant to meet at around that place, so that gives them more specific area that they can just say, Google it, where is this, pin it on the map, and go there. A lot easier than trying to meet at a huge iconic place like the Brooklyn Bridge. Do you know how long and big the Brooklyn Bridge is? It is not easy to meet there, so that is completely unrealistic. Only in the movies would that happen. Number 7, New Yorkers regularly see Broadway shows. As much as I wish this was true, it is often visitors who see a lot of the Broadway shows. I have been to a bunch of Broadway shows, which I am super lucky to have seen. However, Broadway shows are super expensive, so you kind of have to save up to go whenever you do get a chance to go. I've seen some great ones. My favorite has to be Wicked, which is such an amazing movie. If you have any knowledge of The Wizard of Oz, if you've read the book or if you've seen the movie, it is such a classic and such a fun spin on The Wizard of Oz. So I would definitely recommend seeing Wicked, or I would just honestly recommend for a budget traveler who wants to see a Broadway show to try your luck at some of the lotteries. Definitely don't guarantee it, so try it for a couple of days, and if that doesn't work out, try to actually purchase a ticket. It is really hard to get tickets to certain shows, so just be willing to see something and be open to seeing something else, and that's about it. Yeah, New Yorkers don't really see a lot of Broadway shows, but if you're here visiting, I hope you get to see one. Number 8, New Yorkers are rude. This is not true of everyone, so before you start stereotyping, feel free to ask someone and see for yourself. People are super helpful if you ask them questions, but New Yorkers can be a little bit impatient if you do stand in their way, sort of obstruct the foot traffic of the sidewalk. Maybe just stand to the side so that the pace of foot traffic can keep going. Other than that, New Yorkers are pretty nice. Number 9, there are a lot of rats and cockroaches. Okay, so yes, there are more than I would like there to be here, but you most of the time will not see them. So they might be in the subway tracks, and sometimes I see them late at night in the trash bags, but other than that, you will not see them unless you're looking for them or you're in a very bad apartment or bad place. If you're in a nice hotel or a nice area, a nice neighborhood, it's very unlikely that you will see them. So please do not worry. Don't let my horror stories of New York City and some of my problems with cockroaches, no rats, but cockroaches, get you down, because you will probably not see them. If you didn't know, by the way, I have moved out of 2 apartments because of cockroaches. Yeah, 2 out of 5 apartments had cockroaches. Not a good statistic, but at least it's like a minority, if that helps at all. Yeah, so honestly, don't worry, you probably won't see them. If you're in a hotel, it's very unlikely that you will see them, but you know, just don't go looking for them. How about that? Number 10, New Yorkers love New York City. This is not completely true. Many New Yorkers have a love-hate relationship with this city probably because of the expensive nature of it or the fierce competition. So a lot of my friends have actually loved New York, but actually left to move to other less expensive places. There's even a book of famous people who have loved New York City and left it. Number 11, everyone is a health freak. There is a stereotype that New Yorkers are health freaks who are vegetarian, vegan, they only go to CrossFit or Equinox, the top gyms, but basically that is not true, because although some are very health conscious, how could anyone be a full health freak with the amazing desserts, donuts, pizza, ice cream, everything here in New York City? I can speak personally from my own experience that as though I want to eat healthy most of the time, you can't be a full health freak with all these amazing food options. So, stereotype, definitely a stereotype. That's false. Number 12, you'll get a seat on the subway. This is not always guaranteed, especially during peak hours. During rush hour, when people are trying to get to work in the morning and coming back from work at night around about sort of 8 a.m., 9 a.m. in the morning to about 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. at night. Those are the worst times. Avoid the subways during these times, and instead take the subway during off-peak hours in the middle of the day on the weekdays, where you are more likely to be guaranteed a seat. Number 13, it is crowded everywhere. That that is not so true. Yes, tourists definitely congregate around Midtown, around the Empire State Building and Times Square, but if you go to the parks, it is a lot quieter, and go to the boroughs, there are so many places off the beaten track where you can get a little bit more peace and quiet and hear the birds chirping. Like that. Number 14, New York City never sleeps. Technically speaking, New Orleans and Las Vegas actually are open longer because bars here are required to close at 4 a.m., but it does feel like it is a city that never sleeps because there are so many options of places that are open 24 hours, like diners and morning parties. One of my favorite morning parties is actually Daybreaker. So much fun. Yeah, so even though, it seems like we don't sleep, we do. Number 15, it is a concrete jungle with not much green space. This is not totally true. It is a concrete jungle, but there is a lot of green space. There are actually tons of parks all around the city, and 20% of New York City is green parkland. Like this area of Central Park, for example. Exhibit A. Number 16, New York City isn't a college town. This fact totally surprised me because I went to Boston, and stereotypically Boston is known as the college town of the East Coast of the USA, but apparently, according to Bloomberg, there are more New York City undergraduate and graduate students than there are residents in Boston. I don't know how this fact is true, but apparently New York City is more of a college town than Boston. I went to school in Boston, so this one totally surprised me. But go figure. Number 17, you can see it all. This is a complete myth. You cannot see it all in a week, a month, a year. You still can't see it all in a decade because places open faster than you can see all of them. New York City is a huge place. So give yourself a break, make your list more realistic and say, okay, I'm gonna see some things, but then also leave some time for serendipity to allow New York City to just be. Yeah. I'm Jen with The Travel Woman. Thank you so much for watching these 17 New York City myths that are totally false. If you haven't already, go ahead and watch the first video of this series, which were stereotypes that were totally true. And please click that subscribe and bell button if you haven't already to be the first one to be notified of a future video. And share it with friends so that we can bust these New York City myths together. As always, say yes to new adventures, and I'll see you next time. Bye.